Hi, my name's Laura Batante and this is my YouTube channel, My Two Bits. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to make these really adorable felt finger puppets, and I'm going to highly recommend that you download the free template from mytwobits.ca. It has all of the pieces that you'll need on there, plus there's also an extensive materials list. So I'm going to go through them each individually. I'm going to start with the mummy because it's the first one on the template. Now you might notice that they're quite big, and I did that on purpose. I wanted them to be of a size that was easy for kids to work with, and because they're flat like this, they stay quite snug, and I think they're fun to work with, and they will stay on the kids' hands. So these are approximately 2 inches by 3 inches, and that just came about because I found felt at the dollar store that was 6 inches, and I just folded it and cut when I was starting. So for this, guys, you're going to need some of the green felt, and then this is gauze. Now this I happened to have in my cupboard. I think it came from one of my kids' dental visits, but just use what you can find lying around the house. And if you can't find anything, the dollar store will have something for sure. And I just am cutting the gauze up into small strips. And I'm not too worried about them being even. I mean, he is a mummy after all. So I have just laid the gauze across the mummy all sort of willy-nilly. There's no real pattern. You just want to make sure that you excuse me, leave a little space for the eyes to peek out. And then I started sewing, and I just held it in place because the gauze kind of sticks to the felt, so it actually turned out to work out quite well. I just tuck the knot inside, and then it's just a really basic straight stitch all the way around. And you could, I think, put a little dab of glue down if you were concerned about it moving, but like I said, I didn't have any problem with it, and I realized that for little people that might be a bit of a challenge. So yeah, a little dab to help hold things in place probably would do the trick. And so I'm going to sew all the way around, and I'm not going to make you watch me do that. Okay, so there it is after I've sewed it around, and then like I said, I just go in with my scissors and trim around the edge. And I love this project because it's such a good beginner sewing project for kids. And you might not want to start with the mummy just because of having to hold the layers down, but I think you'll find that the kids will get a hold of this pretty quick and not have any problems. Okay, now in this case, I have this coming up, and I didn't have that on this one because I managed to get full strips all the way across. So a little dab of glue right there or a stitch across the bottom would totally work. And from there we just need, sorry, I'm struggling with the smoke. From there we just need some googly eyes. And you know, get a variety of googly eyes so that the kids can really have some fun playing around with different sizes and whatnot. So I thought it might be a good idea to do a little quick sewing tutorial just because I realized I hadn't really covered that, and some folks might not know how to do that. So you need about a foot of floss to do one of these. And for the end, I just wrap it around my finger, roll my fingers, pull it, and I get a little knot, and that's really fine. It works great just to hold it closed. And then I like to start inside, so in between the two layers, so that I'm hiding my knot, because that's not very attractive. And then I will go down to the bottom, put in my stitch, and come through. Now, when I'm teaching kids at school about sewing, and I am not a professional seamstress by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm sure there's many out there that can do it better than me, but I just like to use the demonstration of a dolphin. If this is the surface of the water, the dolphin goes in, swims underneath, pops back out, jumps. So it's really just a in and out. Whatever side you've come out is the side you go back in. So here we are underneath, and will pop up. And really the key is nice, same size stitches close together. If you can do that, you're golden. And if you make a mistake, and this happens all the time, where you're not maybe paying attention and you go around and you come out like this, and that's not the stitch you want, just pull it off your needle and then pull back the stitch and start again. And that will be fine, and you'll get all the way around to the end, and then just tie a little knot in the end and move on to the next one. All right. So the ghost is cut out, and then you just, to transfer the template for the mouth, you're just going to poke a couple of holes in with your pencil and press down, and you'll get the marks through. You could do it, more than that if you want, but I just have a little bit of a reference for myself. And this is if you're going to sew. If it's too much for your little people to do the sewing on the face, then just give them a Sharpie and they can draw on whatever kind of face they like. And then that doesn't have to be done before you sew the body together. But if you are going to do the sewing of the mouth, then you want to do that before you sew the whole thing together. And other than that, you're just going to sew around with the white thread when you're done, and the ghost is pretty easy. So for the spider, I just grabbed 4 pipe cleaners, and I cut them to 8 inches, and then I just tuck them in between the 2 layers, and I had them in there really tight, and I just sewed. And when I'm trying to come up with new ideas, I don't really know if these things are going to work, but it seemed like it might. So it actually turned out to be really easy, because even though these look really thick, they're actually a fairly thin piece of metal in there. So it was not hard to stitch around them at all. And the key was just to try and make sure that you got around each piece. So this isn't, one to start with, but it actually isn't nearly as tricky as it looks. So hold them in place, and for sure you might want to maybe put a clip or something on this side while you start. But I didn't, I just held it. But for kids, you might want to do that. And then once that is sewn, you just bend the legs, and then I just grabbed a bunch. You need 8 eyes of different sizes for the spider's face. And you also, you really don't have to do 8 eyes. You could easily get away with 2. That would be also super cute. And that's all there is to the spider. So for the monster, I don't really think I need to show you any parts of it. It's pretty basic. Basic template, cut out the pieces, glue them on, and when you're gluing these ones, try not to glue right up where you're going to be sewing. So just a little dab there and there to hold it in place while you sew. And yeah, simple straight stitch around and you're good to go. For the vampire, I had suggested on the template to cut the red across, and so you would have 2 green vampire heads, and then I would have sewed on the red as a 3rd layer, but that seemed like a lot. So instead, I've just taken this shape and gone around the head, and then I only have 2 pieces, and you don't see it from behind. You don't see the red from behind. So I think that works actually better, and it's a little easier to do. And so the exact same as we did with the ghost, to get the mouth where you want it, just use the template and pop it down on top and push through with the pencil, and the rest of the stuff is just cut out and glued on, and there you go. We got the whole set. And from here, I think it would be great if you wanted to, would be to encourage your young people to create some more, a werewolf or a black cat, whatever they might like. Thanks so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, I would appreciate it if you would give me a like and consider subscribing to my channel so that you can keep up to date on all the new crafts as they're coming out.